Hello and welcome to Mythical Meeples. Today I'll be looking at the Dominion Seaside update pack from Rio Grande Games. For those of you who don't know, Dominion is a deck building game where players will take it in turns to build up their deck of cards and gain as many victory points as they can by the end of the game. This update pack contains the second edition cards to update your pack of Dominion Seaside if you already have the first edition of the game. So opening up the box, we're greeted by this black insert, which replaces the current inside the box. So you can see here you've got a list of all of the different cards in the game, including those kept from the first edition of the game. You also get a pack of cards, which comes wrapped in cellophane. First, we'll quickly compare the new insert with the old one. So you can see we've lost the Ambassador. We've gained an Astrolabe, Blockade. You've got gained the Corsair. You lose Embargo. You lose the Explorer. You lose the Ghost Ship. Lose the Navigator, you lose the Pearl Diver. What else do you lose? You lose the Sea Hag. I think that's it. So what do you gain? So we gain the Astrolabe. Probably pronouncing that wrong. Blockade. And the Monkey. Pirate. Sailor. Sea Chart. Sea Witch. And Tide Pools. Everything else remains the same, so you lose 6 cards and you gain 9. So now I'll take a quick look at the cards. So you get 99 cards in the pack. 10 of them have sort of brown edges. 1 of them each has a blue edge. And these cards make up your randomizer and your kingdom cards. So you've got the Astrolabe. Now at the start of your next turn, you get 1 coin plus 1 buy. Get the Blockade. So gain a card costing up to 4, setting it aside. At the start of your next turn, put it into your hand. While it's set aside, when another player gains a copy of it on their turn, they gain a curse. So that's quite strong. If there's a good card in the game that everyone wants to get, you can also use it to stop people getting blockades. Next one is the Corsair. So you get +2. At the start of your next turn, you get a +1 card. Until then, each other player trashes the first silver or gold they play each turn. So that's a really good way of stopping people playing money, losing a lot of money as well. Next we have the Monkey. So until your next turn, when the player to your right gains a card, you get +1 card. And at the start of your next turn, you get +1 card. So this is nothing for you when you play it, but has a continuous effect, especially if there's a lot of ways of gaining cards, such as the Corsair, which we just looked at. Not the Corsair, the Blockade. So you have the Pirate. At the start of your next turn, gain a treasure costing up to 6 to your hand. When any player gains a treasure, you may play this from your hand. So it's an action, duration, and reaction. So you've got a few effects going on there. It seems quite useful as well. Obviously, on the turn you play it, it doesn't benefit you at all, but you benefit on your next turn, and you don't have to use your action to play it. Next, we have the Sailor. So you get +1 action, and then once this turn, when you gain a duration card, you may play it. So that's really useful if you've got other ways of gaining duration cards, such as the Blockade, as we mentioned earlier. And at the start of your next turn, you get +2, and you may trash a card from your hand. So it's a good way of getting if you can gain cards during your turn to play them instantly, and also a good way of getting rid of cards from your hand. So next we have the C chart, simple +1 card, +1 action. Then you reveal the top card of your deck. If you have a copy of it in play, you put it into your hand. So this is kind of like a laboratory, but a bit more random as to whether or not it's going to work. If you have a lot of one card, it will work. If you don't, it won't. So similar to Wishing Well, you want consistency in your deck. Next up, we have Sea Witch. So you get +2 cards. Each other player gains a curse. So this is very much like the Witch from the base game. And then at the start of your next turn, you get +2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So obviously the first effect's really strong. You're not going to curse people as quickly as with the normal Witch, as this will stay in play. But you increase your next hand as well, so I think that's probably more beneficial than cursing other players. Last but not least, we have the Tide Pools. So this is +3 cards, +1 action, so that's a really strong card to play on your turn. However, at the start of your next turn, you discard 2 cards. So it's a bit of a sort of double-edged sword there. A really strong effect this turn, so if you can play this towards the end of the game, it's really handy, especially when you end up with lots of victory cards logging up your deck. But in the mid-game, this may sort of harm you more than it helps you. So overall, I'm really happy with the cards in this deck. There's a few that I'd be sad to miss out on if I just brought the Dominion Seaside 2nd edition game with all of the cards. But so Ambassador, I really like as a card. But I think taking out Pearl Diver, Embargo as cards is a really good idea. We didn't tend to play them very much because they just didn't seem to be that useful to us. But yeah, overall, really happy with this expansion. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please like, comment, subscribe. This helps me grow, be seen, allows me to produce more content for you. If you want to support me as well, you can become a member of Mythical Meeples, or you can support me on Patreon. I'll put links below for you. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.